Hello, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are catching this video from. I am Coach Ray. Most of you probably know that because I'm sending this video to people that I know, but I'm also sending it to people that I don't know. And the topic of this video is the 6-Day Eat Clean Challenge. So I have been coaching the 6-Day Eat Clean Challenge for years. I've been helping ladies get amazing results that haven't been able to get results either in a really long time or, quite frankly, ever. And what we've discovered in the 6 days is that it's bite-sized pieces, a very easy way for you to continue to take baby steps towards your ultimate result. Now, many of you have heard about the 6 days, some of you have joined the 6 day, but a lot of you have not taken the opportunity to really just check it out and see what it's all about. And I'm not sure why, because it's super easy to enter. We do them every other week, which is actually going to change because we have some new challenges that we're going to be doing, and we've done a 21-day challenge, a 30-day challenge, and they're super successful. Hundreds of people jumping into them every month, and so we're going to put more focus on a little bit long term. But for those of you who have either done a 6-day or you are thinking about it or you're getting all my emails, I want to talk to all of you if you're not in the community already. And when I say in the community, that's like a word I love to use, like, are you in? Because I want to know if you're in, because if you're not in, guess what? You're out. And that's okay. That's totally okay with me. Enjoy the value that I bring through email and the content that I deliver online or in the chat groups. If that's all you want, if that's what inspires you, then this is a place for you. This is not a place where we're going to pressure you or beg you. This is your health. What we do is related to your health. And so a health journey is an individual journey. It's not a collective journey. It's something that you have to wake up and make the decision, you know what, today, stop. Nothing that I did before that is unhealthy for my health is going to run my life. We're all getting older every single day, and one day, the decisions you make today with your health will show up in a result later on in your life. Many of you may know already that I just passed a big birthday last year. I turned 50, and I've been taking care of my health since I was 33 years old, not 23. I didn't think it was necessary. You know, at that age, I thought I was going to live forever healthily. But since I was 33 years old, I found this amazing health and nutrition company. Didn't really know what I was doing, but I'm going to share with you why I said yes to health and nutrition. It wasn't because I wanted to be healthy. It wasn't because I wanted to work out. It wasn't because I was a fan of health and fitness. It was because of something that I saw growing up that I just didn't quite understand, but it impacted my life. So those of you who may have never heard this story, I want to give you a warning. This content could be very inspiring, but it could be also very sad because you might relate to a couple of the stories that I'm going to share with you. The first story that I'm going to share with you is about my grandmother. So I loved my grandma. We called her Big Mama, and she's a big lady, and that's kind of a name that we call, you know, the older matriarchs in our family. We call them Big Mama. And I used to think when I was younger that I don't want to be called Big Mama. I just want to be called like Grandma or something, because every matriarch in our family that was referred to as Big Mama was big. And I didn't want to be big. And not because I wanted to be healthy. I didn't want to be big because I just didn't want to be big. So the thinking was wrong on why, but I knew there was something attached to it. I had no idea that there was sickness and disease attached to obesity. I just knew that for me, it's not something that I wanted for my life. So loved my grandma. I loved her so much. In fact, I was the young kid, 6, 7, 8 years old, that I didn't even go outside. I wanted to stay inside with Big Mama and help her because she needed help. She couldn't move around very well. I mean, she got from her bedroom to the kitchen to make us meals and everything and took care of us as kids, but she wasn't very mobile. She didn't have a cane or wheelchair or anything like that. She was just an older lady. Now let me tell you how old she was, and think about this. I just told you I turned 50, right? My grandmother lived to be 63, so that's only 13 years older than I am, and that's too young. It's too young. And I remember when she passed away, I was only 8 years old, and there's something to that story that I'm going to share with you. I was 8 years old, and I couldn't understand. It was my first experience with death, and I couldn't understand what happened. And I asked my mom at the time, like, why did Big Mama die? Like, what happened? And she said, oh, honey, she had too much fat around her heart. Now, imagine saying that to an 8-year-old. I'm just like, oh my gosh, I don't ever want to have too much fat around my heart. That's like gonna kill me, right? And at 8, I didn't even know what that meant. Today, I understand visceral fat as a health coach for the last almost 18 years. I completely understand what it is and why my grandmother passed away. So if you don't think that that will make an impression on you as a child, you know, I'm living proof that it actually absolutely did. But here's the kicker about that, you guys. It was 2 days after Thanksgiving. My grandmother died on a Saturday night after Thanksgiving. And I was only 8, I'm 50 now, so how do I remember that so distinctly? Like, I mean, some people have lost grandparents at a young age, and it's just, you know, it just happens. They may or may not tune into it very much. But my grandmother died while I was in the next room. In fact, my brother and my sister and I found her on the ground next to her bed, and she had died right while we were sleeping in the next room. An 8-year-old, a 9-year-old, and a 10-year-old. My sister went to the restroom in the middle of the night, and through the door was, you know, kitty corner, I don't know how it's said, to the restroom was my grandmother's room, and she saw something in her room, saw her on the ground in her room, and she goes in there after she was done going potty, and there my grandmother was on the floor. And she came and she woke me up and woke my brother up. And I was like, something's wrong with Big Mama. She's not talking, we didn't know breathing or anything like that. We were young. We thought she had passed out or was sleeping on the floor. And so we go rushing into her room. And this is the honest to God's truth. My grandmother died, and there was a Bible on the bed. Had we been in the era of social media, I'm sure it would have been on a video or a photo of it or something. So you're just gonna have to imagine this. An 8-year-old Ray walks into the room and sees one of the loves of her life. I mean, my grandmother was the love of my life. She took care of me. She treated me with respect. I helped her clean. I even watched soap operas with her. And I'm not talking about one soap opera. We watched everything. We watched One Life to Live, The Edge of Night, General Hospital, Young and the Restless. Like, I was an 8-year-old kid watching these soap operas with her. One, because I loved her, but two, because cartoons came on at 3 or 3:30, so I knew I was going to be able to watch cartoons afterwards. So this kid, who the love of their life is lying there, limp, lifeless, on the floor in front of her and not comprehending what is going on. I didn't know what was happening. And so her sister, my aunt, my grand aunt, lived downstairs, and so my brother goes running downstairs and wakes her up, and her name was Benny, and my brother wakes her up and says, "Come up, something's wrong with Big Mama. She's on the floor. She's sleeping and she's not waking up." And so she comes upstairs, and I remember her walking into the room, and my sister and I were still in the room with my grandma. I remember my aunt walking into the room and touching her. And I remember her response in that moment. It was something I'll never forget. It's a sound that I can hear to this day, decades later. And she just said, she touched her body and she just said, "Oh, she's so cold." I still didn't understand. Why is she cold? Why is she on the floor? Why is this happening? What's going on? And our aunt turned around to us and had us leave the room. She called 911. Back then it was just 0. There was no 911. It was on the dial phone where you dial the 0. And she called them and the paramedics came and ambulance and everything. And I remember outside of my big mama's room, she had this big window in her apartment that overlooked the kind of downstairs area of her apartment complex. It was only 2 apartments, upstairs and downstairs. And when you looked over, you could see kind of the driveway. Underneath her bedroom was a garage. And so that was the driveway. And I remember looking out in the driveway and I saw this black car. And the car said coroner on the side of it. I didn't know what that was, you guys. I just knew that they took my big mama and put her in a bag and put her in that car. I haven't ever shared this story with anybody. And I don't think I can even share any other stories I was going to share with you guys because I'm, 42 years later sharing this story for the first time. And I never saw her again until my mom put me in a black car. I was totally afraid of limousines because I saw my grandmother go away in a black car. I didn't want to get in one. And we went to her funeral. And there she was in this box, not moving, not calling me my little pet nickname that she had for me. At 63 years old, because no one told her to get healthy. No one told her that there was a 6-day Eat Clean challenge that could change her life. And so I'm inviting you all to this challenge. It's such a small price to pay to get in and change your life. And that's what we want to do as coaches. We want to help you change your life. I'm so sorry. I don't like to cry because I just feel like I look so ugly when I cry. So I share that with you all, and I hope you watch till the very end, and thank you if you did. But I share it with you to invite you, not to sell you anything, but to share with you the most amazing experience to a healthy, active life that you could ever imagine. We love you, and we don't even know you. We've transformed millions of lives in almost 100 countries around the world. This isn't just the United States. This is happening all over the place. And because we're able to connect to people online, we're able to make a bigger impact. And maybe some 8-year-old girls out there will be saved from the experience that I had because you joined the 6-Day Eat Clean. I love you. I thank you for watching. I can't wait to see you in the challenge. Just let me know if you're ready, and I'm here for you. God bless.